here we are again with the TrailManners podcast, Singletrack Session number 98. One of your hosts, Aric Manning, with Joel Hatch. And, we are back for another week.
Yes.
We didn't have a show Tuesday for reasons. It's going to be a crazy summer.
Well, it has been. We're halfway through it.
Yeah, it's true. It has been. And just being on the road and trying to connect schedules. So we didn't have a show, which is kind of unfortunate because I was at the Beaverhead race and there was a lot of people, but it's really hard to get a podcast in when there's just tons of people.
And when you're tired.
Yeah, and it was even before. It was like Friday night. I'm like, I took the stuff. I'm ready to lock and loaded. I never even got to see Aric from Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
Super bummed. Like, he's doing the 100K. I never saw him. I was at the check-in literally from 4 to when it was over. So I was there for almost 3 hours.
Right.
Because I'm like, hey, I want to see people.
Yeah.
And I did. I saw Gabe Joyce, talked to him for a while. And Gabe Edens, he hit me up on the short corner because he uses the short corner in soccer. He's like, really, the short corner? And so we had a conversation.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Don't use the short corner.
No. He gave me some examples, and, he likes to mix it up and surprise. I'm like, I get it. I just,
At the highest level, you don't do that.
Yeah. So I talked to Gabe. Saw Garth Harris, Natalie Sheffield, Eric Thomas, and Paige.
Right.
Just tons of people. I mean, the race directors. But I had the stuff ready and was going to do a show.
Right.
Every time I'd get ready to want to set up, someone to come start talking to me.
Right.
Which I totally loved.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, but it's just it's really hard to break an hour.
True.
Or a half an hour. And there's no way anything was happening after the race.
Nope.
Not just on my side, but there's just lots of carnage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was disappointed, and I think it was because I wanted to talk to people. I also wanted to meet people.
Right.
And I just never got to. And there's other people I wanted to meet. Rachel, some other people I know that listen to the show, but I just never saw people.
True. There's a lot going on that weekend.
There is. And trying to keep my head around what I'm there for, too.
True. That's a good point.
I had my daughter, my sister, my niece were there, plus, I was doing the run.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know, it was difficult, I guess.
Right.
So I got to tweak some things on figuring out maybe how to do something.
You almost have to go a day early.
You do.
Earlier.
Yeah, or get there early, like on Friday, to schedule things. Like, hey, at noon, let's do this.
Exactly.
Because I was going to talk to Garth and Natalie, and they were ready. Garth's like, I'm ready. But I just couldn't break away. Like, I was like, hey, here's a spot over here.
Right.
And I run into somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang it. But met a lot of cool people. Met a Brian. He came up before the race started and shook my hand. And it's just really cool to meet so many people.
It is.
But it's also hard when you don't remember names as well.
I'm good with faces.
And I met someone after the race, the day I was checking out. She's like, hey, remember me? I'm Daniel. I met you a few years ago, 5 years ago at Bear. And I did. I'm like, oh, yeah. But I looked at her. I'm like, you look familiar.
Right.
But we run, and that's kind of how things work, Yep. Everybody looks familiar. It was a fun race. Super difficult.
Challenging?
Yeah. Got on the bus at 4:40 and met Andrew from Missoula.
Yeah.
And we talked for an hour, 30-minute bus ride.
That is the one downfall of that race.
Yeah.
Is you got to take that long bus ride in the morning to the start line.
And it was long.
It is.
And my back was tightening up.
Yep.
I'm trying to shuffle, and we're stuck in there. And me and Andrew, neither one of us were little dudes, so we're sharing this bench.
Gotcha.
He finished 7th at the 100K last year, but he was doing the 55K this year.
He wised up, huh?
Well, that, and he mentioned that he's got 2-month-old twin boys.
Oh, poor guy.
So training's been a little different lately.
Yeah.
Just a lot of cool people, and and that race is just no joke. I don't care what you do. It'll hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a little bit about my race is I went into it with my video camera, and I told you this. I'm like, I want to start slow because Park City killed me.
Yeah.
I want to start slow, and I just want to take it easy. I just want the miles, see the course. I'm going to Silverton, and I really struggled to go slow because I could run. It was runnable.
Right.
And people were running past me or running around me. And
it bothered you a little.
It did. And I really tried. I'm like, nope, don't do it. Don't fall for it.
Right.
And then I had people egging me on. This one girl, she was cracking me up. She goes, come on, man, you got to go faster than this. She'd pass me, and then I'd pass her on another section or another station, and she probably finished hours ahead of me. And then I got called the Pearl Izumi dude. because a couple of people love pearls, and I was wearing a pair.
Right.
But the first part was great. Great aid stations as always. The race is top notch. But then you get to the heat and no shade whatsoever.
Yeah, 0, right?
And lots of rocks. And then it just, I wanted 10 hours. I did 10:02.
That's fair.
But when I look back on it, the last 2 aid stations, I spent at least 15 to 20 minutes in each, just because.
Right.
And then
because they had smoothies.
The last one they did, and I had 2.
Right.
And then the 5 miles is like basically downhill to the finish. For 5 miles, and they have a creek.
Did you get in the creek?
3 times.
you went back to the same creek, right?
You cross it.
Oh, you cross it 3 times.
And you have to get wet, your feet, no matter what. But I actually laid in it twice and sat in it once. So there's another easy 15 minutes.
Right.
And my watch died at the last aid station.
Did you take the Spartan or the Ambit 3?
I took the Spartan. I thought I adjusted the setting, but apparently I didn't. Because I was working and I hit the last aid station, and I thought, I can finish easy under 10.
Right.
And then it died. And so I didn't know how far I was at the finish.
Oh.
And I didn't know how much time I had, so I just did my own thing. And so when I crossed the finish line, my sister was there. I'm like, I started laughing. She's like, what? I'm like, it's going to crack me up if I came in just above 10 hours.
Right.
And she comes back, she goes, 10:02. And I just started laughing.
That's okay.
No, I felt great. It wasn't anything like the last race. I know I could have done, if I was interested, my time could have been a lot better.
Right.
But I wasn't. It's
good.
Cool. And I'm fine with it. But a lot of Kelly Bradbury. Do you remember Kelly Bradbury? She used to be a trail runner in this area for a long time.
That name sounds really familiar.
It was her first ultra in 6 years. She was like one of the OGs back in the day. And she's from Logan. She's a geologist, I believe. But at Utah State. And she worked with the bear forever.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Saw her at the very last aid station. She catches up. I look. I'm like, are you kidding me? She goes, my first ultra in 6 years. She finished ahead of me. She looked great. She crushed it. But great race. Tarkelson and his crew put a great race on. A lot of good people. But I'm pretty beat, though. I'm hoping to put some video online that I took of the scree area.
Right. And
just the sheer knife-edge drops that freak you out. But it's a Garth first ultra.
Yeah, Garth Ayers.
Yeah.
First ultra.
And
that is a hard course.
And he crushed it. He's like
of course he did.
10:40 or something similar to that. But I recommend the race for sure, but it's not entry level.
No.
And there was a gentleman who, before the last aid station, was complaining. And he he was upset it was so hard. He's like, this isn't a running race. You can't run this. Because when you get off the scree, which you're just worked, you literally drop 1,000 to 2,000 feet within a mile.
That's what Jim Skaggs was telling me about that. And it's not like easy drop. No. It's like big step downs.
You got to grab trees.
Yeah.
You got to do everything.
Yeah.
He was so mad. He was complaining. In one section, there's like a conga line of 4 of us coming down, and 3 guys took a wrong turn. They went like straight down the mountain. And there was a girl who wasn't comfortable. She was like waiting to go down. And I'm like, oh, you don't go here. You just run straight across.
Right.
And the guy was so mad that it wasn't marked that you couldn't go that way. And I looked down, and it was absolutely obvious you don't go that way no matter what, right? So
that was his first time in the mountains, it sounded like.
He said he's done 100. I didn't ask him because he was
Where?
on my
In
nerves.
Florida?
Yeah. He's like, you can't run. It's so technical. It's dangerous. And I just was like, I'm done with this dude. And I'm like, you need to read the race description.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious in the race description.
They don't sugarcoat. This is easy.
No.
So, but anyway, great race. Tarkelson, the crew. It's amazing. The finish line was awesome as always.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of cool people. Greg Norander again. Saw him. We've been seeing him most of summer, and we'll see him some more. Cool race. Just trying to recover before I head down to Silverton.
Yeah. And
people are already hitting me up for like 18-mile runs with.
That'd be perfect.
I'm like, oh my God, are you guys trying to kill me? I'm struggling.
18 would be good down there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do hopefully some good mileage, but it looks like it's going to rain the time we're down there.
Of course it's going to rain.
Yeah, like nonstop.
Yeah.
So. Before we get to that, I want to express something on the show because we talked about this last week, Joel.
We did?
How I'm uncomfortable and to make me uncomfortable.
No.
And I'm trying to jump out of this shell.
Yeah.
Right? So I go running with our friend Curtis Thompson. He says, hey, let's go running.
Oh, you told me this story.
Little short, loosener last week. So we're running on the trail, and we're coming back, and here comes a couple girls running right towards us on single track.
Right.
And, we're up there all the time. Mm-hmm. Don't recognize either one of them. As they got closer, I'm looking at the first one going, I recognize that girl.
Right.
I'm running at her. She's running at us. And all I say to her, are you Lucy? And she's like, yep. And we just kept going.
Yeah.
And I sat there. I'm like, man, that was weird.
That was creepy.
And our buddy Curtis turns and looks at me, and I let him know who it was. And I'm like, that was so awkward. She thinks I'm a creeper.
Yeah.
And he's like, you should have said great job at Western States. I'm like, well, yeah, a normal person would have.
Right.
But I didn't. So the rest of the run, it was in my head.
It was bugging you.
I'm like, oh, my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I can't even talk to strangers on the trail. We get to the trailhead. I'm leaning up against the car with Curtis. We're chit-chatting, and here comes Lucy Bartholomew coming back down to the car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, redemption time.
Yeah.
And so she comes running in, and I look at her, and I said, hey, Lucy, I want to apologize about that on the trail. I said, to being all awkward, I'm not a creeper. Just wanted to say good job at Western. And she's like, thank you. And in my head, I'm like, you just made that worse.
I know. She's grabbing her bear spray, her mace at that point.
I'm not a creeper.
Yeah.
And so I sit there, and I'm just laughing with Curtis. Super nice, by the way, Lucy is. I mean, she's only 22. I didn't know she was so young. Super nice. But she goes to get in her car to leave, and she looks over, and she goes, okay, well, you guys have a great day. And I'm like, thank you. So that was my, total,
bonehead movement last week.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It just cracked me up.
One of these days you'll grow up and get out of that phase.
You would
right?
think so?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, you should introduce yourself. I'm like, I don't want her to know who I am now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want the podcast to get a bad name now. She'll never recognize me again if I see her in Silverton this weekend. She won't know I'm hopefully won't know I'm the same creeper, dude. Maybe I should shave.
Probably should.
But yeah, that was just I've been laughing about it all week. I'm like, I'm such an uncomfortable sucker. It's not even funny. But yeah, speaking of Hardrock, I'll be down there this week, and we've got a lot of people entering the contest. And Joel's looking at blank stare because you're supposed to have your top 5 men and women today.
Yeah, I don't even think there's that many people in the race now, to be honest.
And it is. I mean, there's a lot of entries, and I'm getting people entering saying, here's my top 5. Unless this person gets in, then I'm moving them there.
I know, right? There's too many what-ifs.
It is because the last update, like right now we're sitting and recording. It's Tuesday, July 17th because I'm heading to Silverton, and so we're 2 days early recording this from the launch. The last update they have on the start is July 13th. So it's not updated for 4 days. So there could be a lot of movement, with 4 days.
I don't know.
But one of the sad notes, and it's super sad. Did you see what happened with Mike Foote?
I did see that.
So Mike Foote was absolutely one of our favorites. And he just posted not too long ago, last week, that he's decided to drop.
Right. Well,
it's not just that. He goes on it is on Instagram, and if you want to check it out, it's just Mike Foote MT, and he just talks about how he's just it blows me away. He's been doing this for so long without resting and being injury free.
Right.
But then you have lingering over his head that he's talking about some depression, which includes a binge eating disorder, and that's. He comes out and he's just talking about it publicly, and you can tell he's uncomfortable. And if you've ever met Mike, he's not one that's going to, and I fortunately have met him a few times and talked to him, he's not one that's just going to sit and tell you his life story.
Right?
Yeah, super amazing, nice guy. But it's just sad to hear because of battling it for so long.
Right.
And not being able to do something he loves, but obviously the right call.
For sure.
To take care of himself and not worry about, even though it's Hardrock, not taking care of it. And then he went on another post later talking about how people have reached out to him and how it's helped them. And,
right.
So that's really cool, to see the impact he has.
Right.
Because so many of us think, people's lives are perfect. They're good runners and everything else, and we know that's not the case.
No, he's really brave for what he did. And I just wish him the best. He's one of those guys, it's like Dylan Bowman, right? You're just like... You're one of the good guys.
Yep, exactly. You're one of the real good ones in there, and you wish him the best, and we do too, Mike. Wish you the best, and hope everything works out for you. And people are rooting for you, man. Yeah, no matter what. With Hardrock, I've talked to a few people, and I think it's Xavier. We've got Tom Professor X. It's his race to lose.
Yeah, it is.
I don't really. I've gone down the list, and yes, I don't know everybody, but I don't know of anybody who... He
has the pedigree. He has the background of racing in Europe.
Yeah.
He knows how to race in big mountains.
And that's his jam.
The only thing that could throw him for a loop could be the altitude.
Weather.
And the weather. So those are the two things.
Yeah. Because, I mean, after
and that can be said on the women's side, too. Yeah.
And with everybody. I mean, after that, I mean, as far as the men goes, as far as the names, you have a Jeff Browning.
Yeah, he's going to be further up on the list now because so many people have dropped out.
Yeah. You know, Troy Howard. I mean, these are just names that have done well there and are good runners there. You know, I noticed a friend that I know, Nick Petitella, he just posted he got in but forgot to submit his trail work.
Oh, no.
So they bumped him. They won't let him in now.
Right.
So, I mean,
the rules are the rules.
And he wasn't mad.
Right.
He just was like, I think he was on the wait list.
And he didn't
anticipate or forgot all about it.
Right.
But yeah, I think this race is wide open. You know, you still have Jamil Curry and Luke Nilsson on the wait list. They're like in the 2 and 3 spot.
Yeah.
Luke can make some noise.
If he got in.
Make some noise.
Yeah.
And then on the women's side, kind of the same thing. I mean, everybody, and man, I hate talking sometimes because I don't want to sound bad, but you have Nikki Kimball. Everybody's like talking about Nikki, and she's an amazing mountain runner. 5 years ago in Hardrock, I would be totally on board.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's 5 years ago.
That's 5 years ago. And it's nothing against Nikki at all.
We know that she can do the hard stuff because she ran that trail in Vermont.
I just watched that the other day.
And that's some hard stuff. But the altitude is the great equalizer.
I mean, she's done it all. I mean, she's won UTMB, Marathon Disables, Western States. You know, she's done it, but she's later in her career.
Right.
And she finally got in. It wasn't like she didn't. She just could never get in.
True.
But the one I'm thinking is going to win is Sabrina Stanley.
I'm there with you on that
because she's been down there for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And she's young.
She knows the course.
She knows the course, and she hammers it, man.
Yeah.
So you know, there's Darla Askew, kind of I don't say no. More of an unknown for us. The woman from Japan, Kaori Niwa.
Oh yeah.
Japan's got some stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, she could do it's just going to be one of those years where it's going to be interesting.
Outside the top 2, it's open to anybody.
Yep. But then you see who's down there, like Anna's down there, Lucy's down there.
Right.
Anna Mae Flynn's down. There's a lot of people
Walmsley's down there.
Yeah, there's everybody down there. But
right.
The race itself is going to be interesting. I'm
excited
wide open to kind of see it. I don't know how much I'm going to get involved with going to the aid stations too much.
Right, because they're kind of way out there.
Some of them are. Some are on some sketchy trails.
Yep.
You know, I'll be down there for the fun. And I don't know. It'll be fun to see what happens for Hardrock, though, because it's just crazy. You come off such a Western States high, not the hard, but then you come and it's just you don't have the Killians and the you know the Annas and the Darcys and the people that you know would just be fun to gut it out. But it just gives an opportunity for someone else to just take our hearts, I guess, if you will. So yeah, good luck everybody at Western, and you know, like I said, I'll be down there. Hope to see some people down there and try and not get too caught up in the race as I can just have fun and get out on the trails. Get into to Island Lake and things like that.
Did you say Jeff Hart got in there all buck naked?
That's what my plan is.
That looks chilly.
It does. And Jeff and Matt Ozanek have been messaging me. They want to get together for a Thursday morning run.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm still licking some.
Oh, we'll go do
soreness.
it.
Oh, I will.
You'll be fine.
I will, but it's going to be slow.
That's okay.
Like they're going to be like, "Are you coming?" I'm like, "I'm on my way, man.
That's right.
I'm on my way." But I really want to get to Island Lake and have some fun. I'm taking my video camera again. One of these days I'll put something really cool together. I haven't shown any Bellingham stuff, but have some really good stuff from Beaverhead. So, what else we got going on this week in ultra running? You know, not a whole lot. I was looking at a lot of the races that took place last week. Not a ton, especially here.
No, there's a big one in Europe.
There's some stuff going on in Europe again. You know, there's races here. I'm not saying there's not, because there are. It's just there's a lot going on. There was the Eiger Ultra Trail in Switzerland last week. What else did we have? Yeah.
There was a 100-miler in Europe last week. That was really big.
They had the Under Armour mountain race in Copper Mountain, and they're really coming on as far as putting together a pretty good race circuit.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, a lot of stuff over yonder. McCall Trail Race had one that's kind of big in this area. Yeah, Hardrock is kind of it. The other thing going on this weekend, which I wish was on a different weekend, Speed Goat.
Yeah.
So
they have some pretty good runners coming for Speed Goat.
They do, man. It's that I think the competition for Speed Goat, as far as like an actual race itself, is going to be bigger than like say Hardrock.
Oh gosh, yeah, for sure.
Even though it's not the same race, you've got Sage Canada's coming, Tim Frericks, Levi Hawks, Tim Tollefson. That's just a few, right? And you can find names left and right at that race. Tate Pullman, who just won a Broken Arrow race. There's a lot of runners there. And on the women's side, Ruth Croft's coming over.
Okay. She's fast.
Yeah. So she's
but this is a mountain race.
Yeah, Wings is going to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's a mountain race.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good women. And that'll be an interesting race this weekend. And Carl always throws you a curveball.
He does, that bastard.
Yep. It's like, hey, you know what? I thought about it. We should run up that side of the mountain.
That's right.
While we're at it. While you're there.
Do an extra 500 feet right before the finish line.
While you're there, check these flowers out.
So
that'll be pretty cool to see how people do at that. But yeah, our contest is pretty much closed for the Hardrock event, and we'll send all the winners their stuff that win the contest there. What do you got? Anything else you want to jump into? Some Joel it's this week for Woody Footy.
It is
a lot of good Woody Footies this week again.
Jeff at Forest killing it.
Yeah, well he's out on that putts course,
just crushing it
on the putts course.
Lots of good pictures from him. Yep. But he's already won.
Yeah, he has. He's getting the flowers and all the fun stuff. There's a lot coming. There was a lot came from Beaverhead.
A lot came from Beaverhead, and a lot came from Timpanogos this last weekend too.
But there were some really good ones. It was Joel's. There was a really cool one by Randall Clare. He was at a football match.
Saw that.
Albuquerque and Ogden.
Yep,
that's pretty cool.
I didn't realize Ogden had a soccer team still.
Yeah, they've got the
Outlaws,
lower level type ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. There's one of Megan with her crew with Logan and then
with that Ultra race, the Alta.
Yeah,
the Cirque Series. Yeah,
Cirque Series races. It looked pretty stout. Ty Draney sent the win on the beach. That looked real. I'm looking for a beach.
Oh, they were up in the
Oregon area, weren't they?
Yeah, but they were also up in Wyoming running.
Yeah.
They did some stuff up in the Grand Teton National Park, and then I guess Luke ran into 4 bears.
Oh yeah.
One, he said one scared the bejesus out of him. Charged them within 20 feet.
Oh my gosh.
And Luke did everything he possibly could not to run. And he just stood his ground, talked to the bear, and looked down. Luke said it was a big bear. I didn't look at it close enough to see if it was a grizzly, but I bet it was.
It was a big furry bear.
Yeah, he said in all the years he's been running over there, he's never had a problem. This is the first time. And he was running by himself. He didn't have bear spray. So I think he was saying the moral of the story is I'm okay, and I'm going to carry bear spray and run with somebody from now on.
Oh, man. That would be scary.
That's like my biggest fear running that valley trail up in the Grand Teton National Park. It's just having Yogi come over and munch on you. Yeah. Maybe
Luke. Does Luke have the big beard right now? I haven't seen him.
Probably.
That hopefully helped him.
Yeah, right. To look bigger, because he's about as big as my pinky.
Yeah, and he's fluffy.
Yeah,
so the bear's like, oh, he's got some game.
Yeah,
leave him alone.
Right.
So that. And Erin Hill had a great one. She's from Sugarloaf.
Oh yeah, I saw that
Storm one. I want to get in a storm like that. Hopefully in Silverton I will.
I'm sure you will.
But Joel, you picked the winner this week. Who do you got?
Natalie Sheffield up at the Beaverhead.
Nice. That was a good shot.
That was a good picture. It looked like you guys were out on the Screefield area.
Yeah,
or one of them.
One of them. That's what's funny because I've never been on it before. So I'm walking with this other guy at this first scree, and it was up there. And I grabbed my GoPro and I'm kind of pointing where we're going. It looked far, and I'm like, oh my god, almost there. And we get there, and once you get to the top, it's like, oh, we got scree all the way down again.
Yeah.
And then there's a ridge. So we get down a ridge. Oh, crap, we see another shirts hiking up this next scree peak. I'm like, wow, there's 2 of these.
Yeah.
So we get up to the next one, and I'm like, now where will it go? And it goes down gnarly again, and then I'm like, there's no way we got to go to that.
Uh-oh.
But, yeah, we do.
Yep.
And so this guy I'm running with, he's like, man, I swear to God, if there's another one after this, I'm so pissed. And I thought,
oh, there's going to be then.
And then we start hiking up it, and there's just some dude sitting on a rock, just defeated, head in between his legs. And I'm like, thinking, and it looked like that was the top, like he's just taking a rest. We get to him, thinking it's the top. Oh no, it's still a little ways.
Oh yeah, false summit. Huh?
And that was finally the top peak, but then you had a long way to go before downhill. So, right. But yeah, I look at her picture, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that section. So congratulations, Natalie.
Yeah, I think
you
it's
are the winner.
Good representation of that course.
It is. I mean, it's a really good one.
So if you're thinking about next year, make sure you check out this picture.
And if I should post a video, I'll post on the TrailManners page. I'm going to post more of that section.
Gotcha.
Because really, Joel, you remember from the 100K, some of the 55K early on is runnable through trees and stuff. So it's really cool, too.
It's all runnable. That first part of the 100K up to 28 miles is all runnable.
And even the 55K, right? They start you right up a climb.
Yeah.
That'll wake you up pretty quick.
It looked like it.
Out. But there were so many people running the race, I noticed I never got to where I didn't see people.
Oh, okay.
There was always like 4 or 5
somebody
people,
around you, huh?
4 or 5 of them. It wasn't even like 1 or 2. It just seemed like there were always a cluster.
Right. That's good in a way. You kind of work together as a group.
It is, and you saw that a lot. In fact, we got to one point, and you go. I don't remember where we were. It was before, I don't even know, mile 20-ish right in there, and you're going across. There was no trail, but you're following the Continental Divide Trail.
Yeah.
There's a group of like 10 people following me because they didn't know where to go. It was more of a cairn thing.
Oh, yeah.
And a CDT marking that was ribbons.
Yep.
And this one lady was super funny from Boise. She had an accent. She kept going, 265, where we go? 265. And so that was my number, so I'd get in front.
Right.
And at one point I stopped to take video, and 10 people stopped. And I'm like, you guys can go. And like, we don't know where we're going.
Yeah, exactly.
And my pressure went up because I'm like, well, shit, I'm not the best navigator on the planet, but I know how to look at rock cairns.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a section like that. But you had like 10 people just following me. Wait, every time I'd stop, they'd stop. And I'd go, they'd go.
Gotcha.
It was pretty funny. But yeah, congratulations, Natalie, on that. Let me know, and we'll get it to you. Probably just hook up with you and get it to you instead of mail it to you.
That's probably a good idea.
I can avoid the post office, which makes me super duper happy. This week on not Instagram, but Strava. Our Strava people, we had, let me find it here. We had distance was the DD Beaterbeck at 112.3.
That's a long way.
Same with run time, 26:55, and climbing Phil F. That's all he's got. Phil F. 29,500.
That's a lot.
So I know what the F stands for in my mind when I'm thinking 29.5.
Yeah.
But, that's pretty solid. And now we got 2 Ask TrailManners questions.
Okay.
And both of them are good questions.
All right.
First one we'll go is it's gonna be a real good one, and we got to get it out now because it's about the Speed Goat.
Oh yeah.
So hey fellas, I'm doing the Speed Goat 50K this weekend and have been debating on whether or not to use poles.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on when to use them and when not to? Second question. For recovery, ice bath or no ice bath? Thanks, Vertically Challenged.
Huh.
So the second one for me is simple. Ice bath, yes, please.
Yeah.
Like always.
Like
for me.
right after the race.
Yeah.
If you can get in there,
do it.
Do it.
It stings. It's a little painful, but you will love it the next day. And that's what I did up at Beaverhead. I got in the river. It killed time, but I knew that it would pay off, and it did.
Right.
So, yes, ice bath, I will always say yes. I don't care if it's winter time.
I don't care what the research is saying. Get in the ice bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there research out there saying it's bad?
Yeah, they're kind of saying that it doesn't help with reducing inflammation. You know what? In our world, if you're out working hard all day and your core temperature is elevated, get an ice bath.
Yeah. Oh, I will always do ice baths if I can. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you should get in the hot tub. I'm like, that makes me feel 50 times worse.
Exactly. Don't get in the hot tub.
So, yes, on the ice bath. And then the poles. I'll let you start with the poles.
Man, I think the poles, yes. It's just where. After you're going to see the aid station at the bottom of the hill. So after you go up to the peak, you make that first descent through the flowers, and you get that little climb, and then you're going down that Mary Ellen's Gulch?
Yep.
Going down Mary Ellen's Gulch, you get on the service road, you run out to that aid station where you turn around, and then you come down the service road again, and you make that hard right, and you start climbing there.
Yeah.
Because from there, it's all climbing.
Yeah. And I'm not a person that uses poles.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people at Beaverhead using poles.
Yeah.
But I'm taking poles to Hardrock this weekend to Silverton.
That's a good idea.
I'm not racing, So I'm like, let's try them a little bit better. Because I've used poles. I'm just not comfortable because I don't use them enough to understand how to use them.
Yeah.
Right? I'm the hand-on knees hiker.
Oh, yeah.
It gets hard. That's
For
my
sure.
game. But, yeah, I mean, if you've used poles before, take them.
Well, I think on this race you have to carry them the whole way.
Do you?
I don't think there's a drop bag at this race.
But so many packs now, it's pretty easy to carry.
It is.
So especially if you have the collapsibles.
The first run, or the first climb, the 8 miles, you can run that, say 60% of it.
Oh, to the top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you probably don't need poles, but it's that second half. That climb coming out of, I forgot what that aid station's called, but it's basically after the 15-mile aid station. There's a nasty climb coming out of that thing.
I've seen a lot of people use poles when they leave the tunnel, and you drop down and then you come up that ridge.
Yeah, that's a good place, too. But you know what? That ridge is like classic hands on legs. For that.
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it depends on how comfortable you are with poles, really, too. I mean, if it's something you're not used to using, it could just make it
And how good are you using downhill, too?
Oh, and here's the thing, too, is, like, how fit are your arms?
Yeah, true.
Because if you've never used poles and you don't, like, work out in any capacity, you're going to be a sore mother.
Yes,
your
you will.
thighs and shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it is. You'll see a lot of people using poles on that course.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of your comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
But can you use them like Joe mentioned? Yeah, there's places you can use them.
Oh, for sure.
But you have to make sure you understand you got to carry them. And
I think I carried them whole way this year.
And hopefully you have collapsible ones because I've seen people just carry non-collapsibles.
Right.
That just seems like a pain in the butt.
And dangerous to your fellow runners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I almost got clobbered this week.
Get your eye poked out.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your questions. But, yes, take an ice bath. Take one right now just because they're neat.
Because they're neat.
I'm going to soak my feet in some ice later today. So hope that helps. Second question, second person. Hey, I have a few sunglass-related questions. Now, we've had a sunglass-related question before.
Okay.
And I'm glad you asked this question because I have some answers. Number one, if you had $100 to $250 to spend on running glasses for the trails, what would be some options, brands you would consider?
Goodness.
Number two, it seems like there are a ton of different shades of lenses, red, black, blue. Are there different pros and cons for the different lenses? What shade would you recommend for sunny Utah days? As always, you guys are awesome. Keep it up. Thanks, Colin Campbell. So I'm going to start this by...
Yeah, this one's yours.
And I worked in the sunglass industry for 12 plus, 13 plus years. But I have so many pairs of sunglasses, and I will honestly tell you, I hardly to never wear them when I run.
Right.
I have running pair. I ran Beaverhead with my sunglasses on my hat for 32 miles.
Did you forget they're out there?
Nope. I put them on twice and said, nah.
It just too steamy on the eyeballs.
You know, I think if you train with them, and I'm an advocate of sunglasses. I wear sunglasses all the time, and I think it's good for your eyes, especially when you're up on high altitude. I should be wearing them.
Right.
But they just, to me, they kind of bug me sometimes.
Do they?
They really do, and I don't know if there's a perfect one out there because for years I've run in sunglasses. I do the rimless on the bottom because I don't like having a place I can't see. And when you sweat, when it hits, it just drips off as opposed to pulls up on the bottom of the frame. Right. So I've always worn Smith sunglasses, and because I work there. But if I was to buy sunglasses, Smith would still be the top of my list.
Yeah.
I know the quality. I know everything goes into it, even though some things I don't agree with. The quality's there. Another one, the ones I have now are Julbo.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice glasses.
Those are nice.
And they're rimless on the bottom.
Right.
So, as far as the money goes, $100 to $250, that's a huge price range. And we're talking drastically different in quality.
Yeah.
So I think you need to do your research and kind of get an idea what you like. Like, go somewhere and try on rimless.
Right.
Do you want something with interchangeable lenses where you can pop, like you're asking lens tint? So I think that's the big thing. But there's a lot out there. If you have that kind of money, stay away from Gooder. I mean, and that's just because of the price thing.
Right.
And they're just not quality.
No.
People like them.
They look cool.
They look cool. I have a couple pair, but I would stay away from them far if you're looking for quality goes. But yeah, I don't know. Julbo, Smith, you're going to see riders out there.
Yeah.
What are some other popular running ones?
I don't know.
I mean, Julbo does a really good job.
Those are the three that come to my mind right away.
And being in the industry for so long, I mean, things have changed, but those were kind of the ones up there, like running-wise, people were really kind of gravitating to. Yeah, Oakley to me.
Are the kids still wearing Oakleys?
To me, they're still overpriced and ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. I mean, I hate to break it. And it wasn't because I worked at Smith. I had Oakleys, but it's just my game. I think you want some fashion and maybe an Oakley.
I have no idea.
But yeah.
But we're talking about running.
Yeah.
Frog skins.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't. I take them everywhere I go when I run. I rarely wear them.
I know.
And
I always forget.
And I didn't. I put them on a couple times, and I'm like, It kind of bothered me just to have them, and I was always wiping my sweat off, or taking my hat off, or soaking my face in water, squirting it. So it's just kind of a hassle. And I'm huge on clarity when I look. And if you get sweat droplets or smear stuff, you're just constantly wiping them down.
Right.
Just one more piece of gear to worry about.
It's another variable you have to control.
Yeah, and so it's just one that you have to worry about. And then, like Joel mentioned, if it's the temperature's different, there's not such thing as an anti-fog lens. I'm going to let everybody aware of that right now. Everything will fog, no matter what. They market them as anti-fog. I've seen it, but everything fogs at some point.
Yeah.
So don't think that. Even if you use a smudge cloth to fog them. So it's just, to me, it's just one more thing to worry about when you've got everything going on. You got your watch, you got your iPod, you got your squirrel's nut butter, you got everything, the stuff you're worrying about. Now you got glasses.
But if you're training with them, maybe you're used to it.
And I know a lot of people that won't run without them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying not to use them, but it's really personal preference. And I've got probably 50 pairs of sunglasses, no joke, right now, and I don't wear them running.
Right.
I'll wear them every day when I'm driving or
you're
walking.
driving and walking, definitely.
Now, lens tint is another thing.
Oh,
it's
man.
a lot of personal preference.
Yeah.
I will always say I don't like a dark lens when I'm running in the mountains.
Yeah.
Because you got shade, you got dark spots, you got the ground reading depth perception. I've just never been. I get the sun thing. Like if you're up on a mountain with lots of snow, that's a whole different ballgame.
Oh,
you don't want to go
gosh,
snow blind.
Right.
But when I'm running, I like a lighter lens. Like my Jewel bows kind of have a gold lens.
Yeah.
I like things brighter almost so I can see better.
Mm-hmm.
Smith makes a rose tint lens that's probably, in my opinion, still one of the best lenses on the market.
That's a nice one. I like that one.
Depth perception's good. But a lot, again, is where you're going to run, and that's why the second part would be if you can afford one and find a good one with interchangeable lenses, it's the way to go. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're going to change lenses during your race all the time, but
no.
I remember one year I took Scott Jaime a pair of Smith sunglasses at Hardrock, and they had a lot of snow. He had the dark lenses on when he's up high, and at night he went to clear lenses just for eye protection.
Right.
Rocks, tree branches, contacts dry out.
Right.
So that's still my favorite thing is interchangeable lenses. But if I had to pick one lens I had to wear all the time, it would be in running only. It would be a lighter lens. It wouldn't be a dark lens.
Right.
That's just, and I don't like mirrored lenses. I just think they're goofy looking.
They are.
So I hope that helps a little, Colin. But there's so much out there, and it's all personal preference. I like one thing, and Joel and the people that are sponsored by glasses like another thing. So
I am not sponsored by glasses.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
But you might want to check some out. Just hit some stores, try them on.
Go down to the REI.
Yeah, because a lot of it, too, is how tight they are on your temples. They're spring hinges, which are great. But if they're tight, you're going to hate them.
Yeah, you will.
How they fit on your ears.
Kicking those to the curb.
Another thing is how they fit with a hat.
Yep.
If their temples hit your hat and bug you.
How they work when you're all sweaty and nar.
And sliding off your nose.
Yeah.
So there's just so many variables on what you're using them for. So definitely, try a pair on in the shop, and you almost have to roll your dice because you're not going to be able to test them out on the mountain on every condition. But it is good to protect them. That's why even those cheaper ones aren't bad.
Right.
For days like that. So hope that helps with the questions. So thanks for the Ask TrailManners questions on all that. Now we'll just touch up. It's that time. It's the last time we're going to touch base, finish it up on the World Cup 2018. It's over. The World Cup is over.
Right.
The game didn't get ruined. I drove home Sunday, my phone pretty much off, came home, unpacked, unwound, watched the game.
Yep.
Wasn't disappointing.
No, it was a good game.
I don't think anybody was too surprised, even from the beginning.
Right.
Croatia, I thought, came out hard.
They did.
And I was kind of like, whoa, France, you better wake up. And they did.
They did.
France beat Croatia. Not a surprise. It's not a surprise France won the whole thing.
The last two goals of France were awesome.
They were pretty.
They were nice.
Got a little more comfortable. It was pretty. And it was funny to see some of the people like Belgium complaining how France played. They're like, oh, they played, after they lost, Belgium lost, they're complaining about the French style.
Right.
I'm like, bro, you play to win.
Yeah.
It's their style.
That's right. You play to win.
Belgium had a great style throughout the tournament, but it just wasn't enough against France, man.
Yep.
They just ran into it. Croatia beating England was kind of fun for me. I just don't like the England coach, and I think he made a lot of mistakes. I think it came back to haunt him. But Belgium did beat England even in the third, fourth place games. It goes France, Croatia, Belgium, then England. And I remember our first show, we had France and Belgium as the favorites. So
right.
First and third ain't bad.
No, not bad.
Horse racing, we'd have won something.
Yeah.
A golden ball went to Luka Modric, best player of the tournament, which is deservedly, but I think he could have threw a couple more names in that. Really, and couldn't have complained. Eden Hazard for Belgium, I thought, played amazing.
Yeah. The kid for France did pretty good, too.
Mbappe was, he's really the next thing in my book. Just his pace with the ball is ridiculous.
I know.
Blowing by dudes.
Dude, he ran so fast, he forgot the ball once.
I saw that.
I was like, there's the baby deer. There it is right there.
You forgot that, but
yeah.
Golden Boot was anticlimactic, kind of a boring one for me.
Yeah.
I went to Harry Kane, young player. We just mentioned his name, Mbappe, best young player. And the Golden Glove went to Belgium's goalkeeper, Courtois. So, yeah, fun tournament.
Right.
Had some great games, had some stinkers, had some upsets, but just sad we got to wait another 4 years for another one. And did you see when they did? They moved it to winter.
They had to.
Yep, and that's just makes me even more upset.
Yeah.
So the World Cup will be during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Which is going to be super weird.
It's going to be weird. All the European teams, I'm not sure what they're going to do. If they're going to release their players.
Right in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
And you can't. It's not like they can just let them go for the tournament. They got to let them rest a little bit.
Yes.
Plus, if you notice when the World Cup rolls around, they always have two or three friendlies right before the tournament.
So it's like it's like 2 months, basically, that you lost your player that you're paying $100 million.
Yep, so that's just bad.
Yeah, those ding-dongs at FIFA.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll still be doing this by then, but good luck, Qatar and frickin' winter.
Yeah.
But the Women's World Cup's a year away, so that ought to be fun. I'm hoping the women do well there. So that's pretty much it. World Cup's over. Didn't have a contest going for that one, thank goodness, because that would have been fun to track. I think that's all we got for this week. I'll be down in Silverton this week. I'm hoping to have a show for next Tuesday. Lots going to depend on reception and Wi-Fi, getting things loaded up. But hopefully talking to people down there. We've got a...
you should be able to collect at least 2 or 3 different interviews while you're there.
And the good news, I guess, if there is some light at the end of the tunnel, is someone's reached out to us to be a guest host.
Yes.
And this individual is more outgoing than I am with people.
Yes.
So there's a pretty good chance we can reel in some people that normally I would probably not talk to.
I think so.
Hey, do you want to get on this person would be like, yay, get over here.
Yeah.
Want some candy?
I think that you'll be able to get a big fish or two. Maybe you can get Lucy on the show.
If I get Lucy on the show, I'm totally bringing up that experience.
Yeah.
I want to
say, you remember that creeper in Ogden? She'd be like, yes, I do.
And I will say this, and I'll be completely honest because I don't care. How did you feel? And she's going to say, totally wigged out.
Yeah.
Be like, I get it.
Yeah.
That's a learning experience. But yeah, we're hoping to get a few shows in down there. It's going to be raining, going to be sleeping in a tent, but it's going to be fun. Be taking some photos. But yeah, I think that's it. And then right after that, I'll be home and then putts. Mm-hmm. And that's just still gaining steam. I met the last race director, by the way, at Beaverhead, Jeremy Smith, that we hadn't met. Putts. There's 4 of them.
Right.
He did the 55K, and he's in charge of marking the course.
Okay.
He's nervous as heck.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, they're doing this 60 miles this day. He's doing 30, someone's doing 30, and they're meeting, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm excited just to see how that unfolds, that race, because the flowers, it's almost like move it up. If it looks pretty as it does now, hopefully it's that pretty in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's gorgeous right now.
Right.
Holy cow. Yeah, so that's coming up. Got a Vaquero Loco around the corner. A lot going on in August. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this is episode Singletrack Session 98.
Right.
But last thing, and I hate to do this because I always embarrass Joel, but before I left to Beaverhead, Joel got me on the table again for a stretch session.
Oh yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Oh my God,
Did I use the Hypervolt?
Yeah, I texted you today. So I was like,
that's
the name of that? He's got this gun.
It's a Hypervolt.
Hypervolt gun, and it's similar to the one you see all the ads on Facebook.
Yeah.
They pop up everywhere. It's the Theragun, is that right?
Well, so Theragun's a different brand.
Yeah, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically a massaging gun.
And it's money.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Who is it, Hypervent?
Hyper Ice makes the Hypervolt.
If anybody knows anybody from Hyper Ice, send them our way. That thing was ridiculous. But the stretch session You did some other things than I've done before.
Yeah.
There's a couple times you didn't look, or you probably might have saw tears rolling down my face.
Tears of joy.
It was. It's like a massage sometimes. It's painful. Like it doesn't feel the best, but you know it's going to feel awesome.
Yeah.
But it starts to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the area, you got to try this stretching thing out. Because it is freaking amazing.
Get on the table. It's fun.
So I got on before I went to Beaverhead after a massage session.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. Just ridiculous. So check that out. Anyway, I think that's it for this week. This is Aric and Joel, and we are Singletrack 98, and we're out.